wonder what luxury homes look like and what they cost here in the Philippines? Well, today's video is going to be just about that. I'm going to cover 3 luxury homes here on the island of Bohol, and I'm going to show you the complete house tours, and then I'm going to give you the pricing for each of these homes. Now, all of these homes are currently for sale on the market. So if it's something you're interested, I can give you more details. So come along with me as we check out these luxury homes. It'll be fun and exciting. And who knows, maybe one of these properties may be the one you want to buy someday as a luxury home in the Philippines because your dollar goes so much further. And maybe that home that you dreamed of, that you thought you couldn't afford back in the US or whatever Western country you're from, maybe you can afford it here because of the exchange rate is at about 59 pesos to the dollar. So your dollar goes so much further. And so it makes sense if you're looking to buy property that now may be a good time as far as exchange rate goes. You just get more for your money. Well, this first property is located in what we call the King Beach area here on Panglao. It's very close to some of the most famous resorts here, which would be the Bohol Beach Club, the Oceanica, and then the new Bohol Shores, which is a very exclusive 5-star resort right here on Dumalon Beach. Well, King is the next beach kind of down, just away from it towards Tagbilaran. And that's where this first luxury home is at. Now, this home's interesting. It's very well built. It was built in 2018. And I just recently did a complete tour looking at this home and the lot. The home's quite large from Philippine standards. You know, the homes in the Philippines run much smaller, about half the size of the US. In this particular case, this home is built at 420 square meters. To give you kind of a reference point, if I convert that to square feet, it's basically a factor of 10, not exactly, but gets you very close. So in this case, that 420 square meters converts to 4,520 square feet. It has a large, beautiful lot. It's very well laid out and completely fenced in by a concrete fence. The lot is 2,216 square meters. That's a big size lot here. Most larger lots are about half that size at 1,000 square meters. And even that's a good amount of space. To give you a reference point, in this case, if we said 2,216 square feet for the lot size, right? So there's 2 things we track here. The lot size and the floor area. The floor area is the floor area of the house, right? So 2,216 square meters would equal 23,851 square feet for the lot. To put that in perspective, because these are just a bunch of numbers, this lot is roughly about a half an acre of land, right? So the half acre is about what the size of this lot is. If you're comparing it to a hectare here, it's about 22% of the size of a hectare, right? So almost a fourth. Now for reference, a full hectare equals 10,000 square meters. And just to kind of give you parameters, if you're from the West, 1 hectare equals about 2.5 acres. 2.47 to be exact, but let's call it 2.5 acres per hectare. So that gives you a reference. If you're getting up close to a hectare, that's how much land you're getting. Now this home has a really nice pool area, and it's just part of the large backyard. And even though it's a good sized pool, the backyard's so big it doesn't really take up much space. And like I said, this home was built custom in 2018, and it's actually stood the test of Odette, right? The typhoon came through here, and other than the CCTV monitors around the outside of the house, nothing else was affected. The house doesn't even have a crack in it. I checked the ceilings, the walls, everything. So this home, it just has really nice large rooms. The bedrooms in particular are a good size. And that might seem like, well, Eric, why are you calling that out? Well, bedrooms tend to be smaller here in newer homes. You know, we recently looked at a home here in Royal Palms, Cuatro, where we live. There's a model that we really like on the spot called Hermosa Grande. and it's 190 square meters, so roughly 2,000 square feet. It has 6 bedrooms. Well, if you're going to put 6 bedrooms into roughly 2,000 square feet or 190 square meters, those bedrooms are going to be pretty small. And in this case, in this particular house in the Beacon Beach area, they're nice big bedrooms. So the larger bedrooms are a little harder to find than you might think here in the Philippines. That's just how they do things. They more increase the quantity of the bedrooms than the size, right? So anyway, this home has 4 nice bedrooms, good-sized bedrooms upstairs. And then it also has a sitting area, kind of like a family room upstairs. There's an additional 2 bedrooms downstairs, so it's a 6-bedroom house, right? Now, I'll give you a complete home tour here so that you can kind of see from room to room the complete lot. But the asking price is 35 million pesos. And that converts at a 59 exchange rate, 59 pesos to the dollar. That's roughly just under 600,000 US. The exact number being 593,220. Now that's a big number for over here in the Philippines, right? That's really considered a luxury estate. You can get a very nice home for about half that price. That's going to be closer to maybe 250 square meters. So this is really a high-end luxury home for here. All right, we're now moving into the family room area. You can see the round table, which is great for conversation and having friends over. It looks like it's got a lazy Susan in the middle. You can kind of spin the food around. So that's kind of fun. Then we go into the kitchen. The kitchen's pretty much standard. I'd say it's a little bit unimpressive for a $35 million house. It does have a 5 or 6 burner stove and a nice big fridge. I asked them whether the home was furnished, and they kind of looked at me funny. So I think it depends as to what they will take and what they will leave. But of course, I would think the stove would leave, and they weren't sure about the refrigerator. I guess they had to talk to the owner. But it looks like we've got a full 6 burner plus stove there. And now we go into one of the downstairs bedrooms. Good size. I like the laminate flooring. There's built-in cabinets, so plenty of place to store your clothes and your things, and plus a little beauty table. Then it has its own CR. Each bedroom, for the most part, has a CR. Now we're going to go ahead and go upstairs. I'd say the stairway is probably one of the best features of the entire house. I love the way that they put, the iron railing with the gold highlights and then the hardwood, like a mahogany look. Now this is kind of a landing area and then goes into the outdoor balcony. Was a little bit disappointed in this house. I think I mentioned this earlier. Is here's your view towards the ocean, and it's not even 100 meters, and you're out the ocean. So if they would have been able to go higher and build a higher deck, they would have had a clear ocean view. So I know the day's a little hazy, and this is pretty much in the middle of the day. It was a little bit bright. You can kind of tell by the footage. But anyway, that was a disappointment to have a $35 million house 100 meters from the water and not have an ocean view. Here is one of the upstairs bedrooms. Again, the laminate flooring, they're just replacing at this point. The house is in good shape. It's about 8 years old, but it's well cared for. As I mentioned, it's been through the Typhoon Odette, and it's been through some earthquakes, and there's no cracks. I don't see anything that's like materially wrong with the structure of the house. So it's been built very well. Here is a second balcony off of a bedroom on the other side of the upstairs. So that's nice. You've got a separate little balcony for whoever has that bedroom. That was well thought out. And then you can see that's the entrance to the property. And then there's your neighbor next door. All right, we're coming back into the house and going into the next bedroom. So this might be one of the only bedrooms that doesn't have a CR of its own. So there might be a shared one here. I don't think there's one in this room, but there's the built-ins. Yeah, that would be correct. And that's going to then take you into the main hallway. And then there's a look from the top of the stairs down to the bottom. The only thing that I'm a bit disappointed about on this particular property, as much as I like it, it's a very nice home, right? It's large. I mean, if you want a 4,500 square foot house, that's what you're talking about, or 420 square meters. So if you want this big home with the big staircase and all that, really cool if you can happen to afford that. But here's the thing. The property is located less than 100 meters from the beach. And 100 meters isn't that different. I think it's 110 yards if you do the conversion, or 108 or so, from the ocean, right? So you're only 100 meters, 110 yards from the ocean, and there's no ocean view of Peking Beach or the ocean itself. And it's out there and it's looking at Panglao Island where they do the snorkeling and all that. It should have that type of view, and they didn't take advantage of it in the build because of the trees in front of them. So when you walk out on the upstairs balcony, I was expecting to see an ocean view. It looks directly towards the ocean, but what you see are the tops of the trees. You would have to give some thought as to, how could you fix that in a luxury property like this? Is there a potential to go up for an upper deck somewhere? I don't know. I don't know the structure of the house exactly, and then you're dealing with the roof and all that, but that would be something I would be looking at for this house. And I was just kind of caught off guard because I assumed for this location, that close to the beach, that there would be an ocean view, because the ocean view should be tremendous. It should be almost like 180 degrees. And there's just not. So you will find in these luxury homes a third story sometimes where the top story is a top viewing deck. I love that part of the floor plans here. It's going to be mostly in the luxury homes that you're going to find that. But if you have that top story as like a tiled deck area, and then you put some type of like covering, awning, that type of thing, you've got a great viewpoint. And there's several luxury homes around here that have that. So if you're going to spend $35 million on a property and you're that close to the beach, it's just odd not to have the ocean view, right? And if they had that, it probably would increase the value of the home even more. Now, I do think this price is a little bit high, so I'm not sure if the homeowner's going to be willing to negotiate off that price. I know they've been doing some updating upstairs. You probably have seen that in the video. They're just putting in a new laminate flooring and updating a little bit. But other than that, the home's in great shape. All right, let's move on. The next home is something really special that I want you to see, and a little bit more affordable. So let's take a look. Oh, I remember this from the picture. Yeah. I remember. Hello.
Hi, Ma'am. Good noon.
Maayong buntag?
May buntag. Wow, may buntag.
Oh, gamay.
Gamay. Ma'am, mag-video sila. Okay ra? Okay ra. Okay. You can take a video.
Video's okay? Okay.
Nahugas ko. Anong ta? Diba na siya kakwarto? Bisitalit pa naman.
Oh, look at the view. This is the walk-in closet on the master bedroom. There's only 2 bedrooms in this house. And so this is off the master. Here's the master bedroom. It's got split aircon, which is much better than the carrier type. And the room's okay size. And you've got that big window. You've got a view, just like you see here in the living room kitchen area, going outside. So they did a nice job with the windows, so that you can really take advantage of this incredible view up on this hill. Here's a look at the kitchen and then the overall living room. So this is a smaller home. It's probably in the neighborhood of around 110 to 115 square meters. So it's going to really be this living room area and the kitchen, and then the 2 bedrooms, and then you have the outside balcony. So this is a closer look of the family room going into the kitchen, and then the view that you have. As you can see, they put windows everywhere to really maximize the light. I don't even think the lights were turned on when we were there. But here's the view outside on the deck area, and that's definitely the highlight of the entire house. And we're now looking towards Panglao, and then to the left would be towards Panglao Island. So if you know the area at all, that white building off in the distance across the bay is the Ace Hospital. I almost said Ace Hardware. They have those over here too. That's kind of funny. This is what the backyard looks like. There is not a lower level. They did not put in or dig in a basement or a lower level. So that's just the yard area. And then here is more of your view. There's only really one home that's kind of in your direct view. The rest of it, you're looking, actually right here, looking towards Mindanao. On a clear day, you can actually see Camiguin Island off of Mindanao, which is quite a distance away. There is Panglao Island off to the right. And of course, this is the highlands for this Dowie area. Not a lot of homes in this area, but the ones that are here are higher end and incredible views, as you can see. So here's a look at the stairs going down to the garden area for the backyard. But again, there is no lower level of the house. Okay, now we're walking back into the living room, family room area. And as you can see, they have all custom wood made pieces for the furniture, and then the island in the kitchen. And yeah, it's just a basic kitchen, nothing really special about it. So you're really paying for the view. This house is listed around 20 million. We went back and forth with the owner because we really liked the home. We're thinking about it, but as a view is just amazing. However, the house is small. You know, this is just over, like I said, probably 110 square meters, which is about roughly 1,100 square feet. Only has 2 bedrooms. This is the second bedroom. And so it's much smaller than we've been looking for. There is a CR, which is the comfort room. They're named for the bathroom off of the second bedroom. And it's set up that if you want to have out-of-town guests, they have their own separate place here that goes out onto the balcony instead of going into the house. That was done on purpose. So if they have out-of-town guests, they can kind of have their own area. Here's a final look at the view and some of the neighboring homes. There's the stairs going up. There is a carport area that you can drive in that is fenced off there at the top of the stairs. Here's your neighbors. Now we're looking towards Panglao Island and Mindanao. And then let's get a final look kind of this view. All right, let's move on. The next home is something really special that I want you to see and a little bit more affordable. So let's take a look. So this is a 2-story, kind of an Italian villa. It's built by some Italian custom builders here in Panglao. And this is the pool, which is kind of the highlight of the property, along with the rest of the backyard. It's pretty impressive looking with the 2-story and a lot of kind of outdoor living. And it's got kind of a ballet flare. That's actually an outdoor shower in the corner there. And I would put like a built-in barbecue, maybe a pizza oven along that wall. And as you can see by the decor, it looks kind of like ballet. This is the entrance to the property. That's also doubles as a carport. So that's where you would park your car, come through the gate, and then you're into the property. And they have 2 choices. You can either enter the home through the front door or through this sliding glass door the man just walked through. So this is the living room area. The kitchen is just very much, I would say, temporary until the purchaser says what they want as far as custom cabinets and the type of surface area that they want, whether that would be granite, etc. But just to give you an idea, this is what it is for now. There is a 6-burner stove in there, so you could keep that. But I do think you'd want to upgrade the kitchen area. And the builders will work with you to do that. They'll just track their time and cost and then add it to the purchase price, which for this home is $16,960,000. So you can see, to me, it's, you know, pretty limited kitchen, not what you would want for this type of home. And then this is the living room, family room area. I would consider moving that wall out to where that man standing behind Lynn there maybe 2 meters into the next bedroom and make this room bigger. That was one thing, is for a almost $17 million house, it has a very small kind of living room, family room area. And they really built the house that you go through those sliding glass doors and you go out to the patio area and you eat outside. This is the wall I'm talking about. I think you could move this out maybe 2 meters into that room and then still have this bathroom, and there's like a walk-in closet area into this bathroom off of the first story bedroom. The house is 3 bedrooms total, 1 downstairs, 2 upstairs. And this is the shower. There's what the water heater, it's instant hot water looks like. And as we come back out here, here's the double sinks. And then the walk-in closet. Oh, that's nice. Easy access to your clothes. Nice built-ins. There's the bedroom, and then it has the screen door outside. This goes to the next CR downstairs. So this is off the kitchen area. So there's 2 CRs downstairs, 2 CRs upstairs, 4 total. And again, decent looking bathroom. And then this actually goes back into the living room area. Now we're upstairs, so we've come up the stairs here. There was a lot of people here I'm trying to shoot, so I'm trying to work around like 5-6 people. This is the upstairs bathroom that is attached through the walk-in closet of the upstairs bedroom. I would make this the guest bedroom, and I'll show you why in just a second. As you come out of the bathroom, this is the walk-in closet area, and it's more of a rectangle than a square, so that I would put your built-ins in there, but make this the guest bedroom. So this is what the bedroom looks like. It's decent size, nice big open doors going out to the balcony. And then as you see in a second here, it's actually plumbed for a jacuzzi bathtub. So they've automatically assumed you're gonna want that in the corner, which is fine, I guess, but the bathroom's on the other side. So it's not in the bathroom. All right, when you walk outside, this is kind of neat. It's got a very cool balcony area. Here's a view of the bedroom one last time, so you can kind of see. I'm checking for the power here, and the power's been placed very well in the home. All right, you're coming outside. You see there's no railing, so be careful. But I would put tempered glass instead of like a stainless steel railing, so that you don't lose the view into the backyard, because that is tremendous right there. But you definitely want to put up some railing. If you had teenagers, they would be testing that into the pool, and the pool's not that deep. They'd probably get hurt. But this is the outdoor balcony area. They did the same thing below. That's got just as big of an area downstairs, and where you could set up a table and all of that. And that's where your overhead parking is, there by the entrance. And your outdoor showers in the corner there. And that's where we put the barbecue along that wall. And as we walk down this balcony area, we then go into the next bedroom. Now, I would make this bedroom the master. It's also plumbed for the jacuzzi tub there. But the way that this room's laid out, I think you've got some options to move things around. And it's got a much better walk-in closet area that's more square that you're going to see in just a second. There's a view of the room. Here's the walk-in closet. It's just going to be easier to do built-ins in this space versus the other room, which was really narrow. And then goes into the bathroom. Bathroom's got one sink here. And just standard shower and all of that. There's the view one more time from the balcony outside, and then bedroom 1 and then bedroom 2. But I feel like the stunning part of the house is actually the outside and the backyard, much more than inside the house. It's a little bit less impressive inside, especially at an almost $17 million price point. Well, I hope that gives you a perspective of some of the luxury properties that are available, and these particular ones are all in Panglao, and kind of give you an idea of what the cost is to find a luxury home here in Bohol. Now, if you go further away from Panglao, out to areas like Panglao Island and further towards the interior or further down the coast, you can get even more for your money. And there are several properties that I'm looking at right now that are out that area. And I'll do a follow-up video about that if we go a little further away, what you can get is pretty amazing from an estate standpoint. So if you're looking for that type of property, like more land, a larger lot, and further away from maybe the city, those are also options. So we'll cover that in future videos. All right? So that's going to do it today for this video. I hope you enjoyed this and got a perspective of these 3 luxury homes, all here in Panglao, which is a very desirable resort area here in Bohol, right? And if you've got any questions or comments on these homes or anything about the video, just let me know in the comment section. I really do my best to respond to every single comment. And that's a great part about this type of media, is that you get to interact with the author, me in this case. So if you've got a comment or a question, let me answer that for you. Okay? Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. You guys take care.